Welcome to my channel. My name is Swish. With Games Workshop releasing Season 3 of Blood Bowl, I wanted to take a look at all of the roster changes and provide my take on each team. In today's video, I'm going to take a look at the Amazon team. To start, let's compare the second season roster to the third. Since the Amazon team saw a refresh in the last edition, it's no surprise that there's very little different here. Positional maximums and costs are all identical. Stats are largely identical with the exception of the Piranha and Jaguar Warriors receiving an increase to their passing stat. Skills and traits are also identical, but I will note here that the hit and run ability was previously a unique trait that only belonged to the Piranha Warriors, but is now an agility skill that anybody who has access to the agility tree could take. Skill access appears to be the same on the surface, however it is worth noting here that no players on the Amazon team have access to the new Devious skill tree, either as a primary or as a secondary, and previously a number of skills on this new tree were available as either general or agility skills. Amazon teams play for the Lestarian Super League, which does limit their star player options. In fact, most of the star players introduced in the Amazon Spike Journal are currently not updated for Season 3, but I do expect that to change. Other classic star players like the Mighty Zug and Carlo Von Kill, who previously could play for the Lestarian Super League, are also not currently in Season 3, and I would expect they will be more limited on what teams they can play for if the current star player rules are any indication. There are no special rules for the Amazon team, but the overall concept of a whole team with dodge is still very much here. Eagle Warriors are cost effective at 50k. Their stats mimic that of a human lineman with average movement, strength, agility, and passing. They do have weaker armor at 8+, but they come with the dodge skill. Now, dodge is considered an elite skill in this edition, meaning that it should cost more for a player to have it. Eagle Warriors, and all Amazon players for that matter, getting dodge without an increase to their base cost from the last edition is a really good bargain. Eagle Warriors are going to get general as primary skills, and honestly, I wouldn't stray out of general skills for them. Obviously, there are some options in strength and agility, but a lot of the skills that you're going to want them to have live in general anyway. For their first advancement, block is an obvious choice, and block and dodge across the whole front line is one of the best combinations of skills in Blood Bowl. For a second advancement, I like to have one lineman with the kick skill just to help stall my opponent's offensive drives, although I think I have a tendency to value that a little bit more highly than most coaches. A fantastic second skill in this edition is Steady Footing, which is a new skill in the general tree, and until testing proves me otherwise, I'm going to recommend it as a second skill on almost every player moving forward. It's kind of hard to argue with a flat 16.6% chance to avoid being knocked down, to avoid failing a rush attempt, to avoid failing a dodge roll. It goes on. Block, dodge, and a 6+ ward save is going to make any Amazon extremely difficult to take down. Python Warriors, on the other hand, feel kind of like a bad deal to me. They're 30k more than a line woman. Stats are the same across the board except for the +1 boost to the passing skill, which makes sense because they're a thrower. They also have dodge just like everyone else on the team, but they also get on the ball, pass, and safe pass. Now, this would make them a great deal. You're getting essentially 3 skills for only a 30k increase. But the problem is with the Amazon passing game is that it's all one-sided. The Amazon throwers are perfectly fine as a passer, but they don't really have anybody on the team that can catch the ball regularly. Nobody comes with the catch skill. Nobody has an agility increase. So you have to develop another player to become a catcher in order for the thrower to be effective, and I don't think that that's really where you want to be with this team. We haven't really gotten to the Piranha Warriors yet, and I know they have access to agility skills, so you could develop them into a catcher. You could give them catch, you could give them diving catch, you could set them up for that, but I think that they are too effective in the ground game with the skills that they already possess to not develop them more towards a different role. Now, before we get to the Piranha Warriors, just to finish up with the Python Warriors, the one skill that they have that I do feel is really valuable is on the ball. And on the ball could be a skill that you could build around with this player. You could give them something like Nerves of Steel and then turn them into like an interceptor so you can kind of help shut down your opponent's passing game. I think all in all, though, I would probably leave this one off the roster. Now let's go ahead and jump to Piranha Warriors. 7 move is above average, strength 3, agility 3+, and 4+ passing are all nice and standard. They do come with the same lower armor plus dodge combo that I talked about with the line women. But in addition to dodge, they also come with hit and run, which is now an agility skill rather than a unique trait, and the jump up skill. Hit and run allows you to avoid retaliation strikes, and it helps create dynamic positioning. It's a skill that really benefits a thoughtful coach and is turbo annoying to play against. Jump up is an interesting one, and I feel that it's meant to be built around. Since Piranha Warriors don't really come with block, there's a good reason for them to take Wrestle instead as a first skill, kind of turning the Piranha into a ball hawk. For the second skill, to kind of follow into the same theme, I would consider something like Strip Ball or Tackle. Last but in no way least is the Jaguar Warrior. The fact that this player exists on any team is very confusing to me. I would put the Jaguar at the top of the list of best players in Blood Bowl. I would almost consider this player a cheat code for Blood Bowl. I'm going to skip the other stats for just a second and call out the fact that this is a Strength 4 player. There are some unspoken rules in Blood Bowl about Strength 4 players, like how they shouldn't be too fast, or how they shouldn't be able to move the ball, or they shouldn't have access to blodge, basically to prevent them from being too good for the game. Somehow, whoever designed the Amazons in the previous edition really missed the memo on the Jaguar. She has 6 move, making her tied with the Saurus Warrior for the fastest Strength 4 player in the game. She has an agility 3+, meaning she can easily pick up the ball or catch the ball, tying with the Chaos chosen as the most agile Strength 4 player. She has armor 9+, making her tougher than the rest of the players on this team, but making her on par with most other players in the game. And she also comes with dodge, which is an elite skill that no other Strength 4 player has or can take as a primary skill. I'm going to repeat that for a second. She comes with dodge, an elite skill that no other Strength 4 player has or can take as a primary skill. This makes her so unbelievably difficult to put on the ground. She has access to general and strength skills, so she can quickly take block as her first skill and follow that up with Mighty Blow or Guard or Sure Hands or whatever you feel like you need. Or if you want, you could just stockpile star player points on her from all of the casualties and touchdowns she's going to be racking up and just buy additional stats. Imagine a Strength 5 Jaguar Warrior with the ball, or God forbid, an Agility 2+ one. The Jaguar Warrior is just kind of nuts. She's essentially a star player without any of the drawbacks and is one of the main reasons to play this team. To finish up the roster, they have 60k rerolls and access to an apothecary. If I was going to build a starting Amazon team for a league, here's what I would take and then how I would develop the team. I would start with 7 Eagle Warriors, 2 Piranha Warriors, and 2 Jaguar Warriors. I would omit any of the Python Warriors. I'd take 4 rerolls and spend my last 10k on dedicated fans. This is going to give me 11 players to start the league with, enough rerolls for the entire league. You shouldn't have to buy any more rerolls beyond that point. And it's also going to give you a head start on a high cash flow during the season with the extra dedicated fans. You could drop a reroll and take a 12th player, or pick up an early apothecary, but you should be able to buy either of those two things within the first or second game with the increased dedicated fans. Now, if you totally disagree with my assessment of the Python Warriors, you could drop a reroll, which is going to give you an extra 60k, and that'll allow you to upgrade 2 of the Eagle Warriors to Python Warriors. And that's my take on the Amazon roster for Season 3. Thanks for watching. I appreciate any likes and comments that you leave me, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to take a look at the Black Orc roster in Season 3 of Blood Bowl.